Today we're going to take a closer look at impact difference between light arrows and heavy arrows. I choked. These two felt perfect, and I knew that they were perfect. So that last one I was feeling the pressure, and it was just a little high when it went off. For today's test, I'm going to be shooting at this target. I'm going to shoot at the target from 55 yards away using my 50-yard pin to simulate a misranged animal. Even though it's a little higher than I would usually aim, I'm going to aim at this white line for a consistent horizontal aiming point. The first arrow in our experiment is a RIP TKO with a 250 spine, and it weighs in at roughly 460 grains. The second arrow in our experiment is an arrow I built after watching a little too much Ranch Fairy on YouTube. It's an Easton FMJ with a 300 spine, and it weighs in at roughly 630 grains. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shoot 3 shots from 55 yards using my 50-yard pin. And right now my bow is sighted in for these lighter arrows. So I'll do that first, and then what I'll do is I'll sight in a pin accurately for 50 yards with the heavy arrows and shoot from 55 yards, and we'll see the impact difference. See how good I am at guessing yardage. 51. Got to move the truck. All right, got the truck moved. We're getting ready to go on basically a Western mule tour, and so we were loading up the horse trailer today. So now I got enough space I can get to 55 yards. 55. All right, so what I'll do, I'll shoot a few for practice first, just kind of get warmed up, and I'll do that at 50 yards and just make sure I'm hitting good, show where those groups are hitting. And this whole first round is all going to be with the moderately weighted arrow. So let's get warmed up, have some fun shooting the bow. All right, so the setup I have for today is the Mathews Lift 33. It is set at 80 pounds with, I think, an 80% let off. And it's shooting these lighter arrows at 303 feet per second. And the heavier arrows, it's shooting at 240 feet per second. The lighter option on the arrows is 460 grains, and the heavier option on the arrows is 630 grains. Pretty big difference. The heavy end is like way heavy. The lighter option arrow is really a moderate weight. That's not very light at all, honestly. And I feel like it's the perfect spot for Western hunting arrow. Our last video we made, we showed building some arrows. Me and Alyssa had a blast building the arrows. And then we made the mistake of showing the difference in impact between this heavy arrow and this light arrow. And people got kind of upset. They said that's not scientific because you're sighted in for the lighter arrow, which I mentioned in the video, and that is correct. We were sighted in for the lighter arrow. So it was just showing the difference in impact between the heavy arrow and the light arrow. But this one will be sighted in for both, and we'll actually show the difference in drop when you miss guess by 5 yards. So this should be pretty fun. I'm actually really curious. I've never done this, haven't done it before, so I'm learning with you. But I'm curious to see the difference in impact between this heavy arrow and the moderate weight arrow. Okay, for the sake of this experiment, I'm just gonna aim for this white line here. And this is obviously smaller than an actual antelope would be, but it's kind of a fun target. But yeah, so I'll aim right on this white line, and that's what we'll use for an aiming point today. First up though, let's get a little bit of practice and then get warmed up, make sure I'm aiming good. I've been shooting quite a bit this year. It's been really fun actually. We just leave these targets set up and fling a few arrows in the evening, and it is right now like the end of May 25th maybe. So there's still time till season, but it's just fun to shoot. Felt good. Can't see where it hit though. Shot number 2 felt good as well. Definitely not the best archer in the world, but it is fun to fling some arrows. It's weird aiming for that white line. I'm used to aiming a little lower. 50 yards, cold bore. Oh man, that was not a very good group. I'll show you anyway, for sake of transparency. It is good to know, after all, how accurate the shooter is if you're doing scientific studies. Margin for error. The second one felt a little high when it went off, but not that high. Here's what we got. I've had worse groups, but definitely had better too. Kind of disappointing. All right, 50 yards, aiming at the horizontal white line. Those all honestly felt really good. So let's go check it out, see how we did. I am shooting this wrist rocket release now. I shot a hinge for years because I had really bad target panic and literally took months of blank bailing to fix. And then when I got better, I just went with a hinge and it worked really well. But they're just not quite as hardy, as tough and rugged as these index finger releases. And so I switched back to this index finger release. Excuse me. I switched back to this index finger release and I like it. I'm trying to shoot it in the surprise release back tension style, where you wrap your finger really deep around the trigger. You just pull with your back and your pin is just kind of wiggling around the target. And you just keep pulling, even when it's not in the middle. Just keep pulling, keep pulling, keep pulling until it breaks. And so far it's kept me from getting target panic. So there we go. I'm no Chris B, but we do keep it real. So there we go, 50 yards with my 460 grain arrow. All right, got the light arrows pulled, and now to complete the first part of this study, it's very scientific, I'm gonna go back to 55 yards and use my 50-yard pin, aiming at that same horizontal white line, and we'll see where the impact is. So again, this is just replicating misranging a target, misguessing the range on a target. So I'm going to shoot for 50 yards, but it's really 55 yards, and we'll see where our impact point is. 460 grain arrow. A little low when that one went off. Not much, just barely. That one felt perfect. All right, let's see how we did. So this is a little bit of a poor representation as far as a kill shot for a couple reasons. One, that white line is a little higher than I would aim, but two, this is actually a much smaller target than an actual life-size antelope would be. So there you go. Using my 50-yard pin, aiming at this white line and shooting at 55 yards. Just representing misguessing a yardage by 5 yards, which is easy for me to do. So that felt pretty good. You can see the one was a little bit low like I thought it was, and the other two are still very well within a kill zone of an antelope. I'm gonna go grab a tape measure and we'll see how low like the average actually is. I wish I hadn't dropped a little low on that one, but still, it happens. grab a tape measure and see what we got scientifically. Tape measure. Also, sheep skull down here. It's our pile of sheds and stuff. It is plugged. I found this when I was spraying weeds with the Forest Service last summer and found that deadhead. Pretty cool. But I digress. Let's check our group here. So again, I felt low when that one went off, but obviously it's not that big of a difference. But we'll say, just take kind of the average there. Right at 4 inches. Probably the average is right at 4 inches low when you guess for 50 yards, but your target is really at 55 yards. And again, that's shooting an 80-pound Mathews Lift 33 with 460 grain arrow. Alright, this next part is going to take a little longer because what I'm going to do is I'm going to sight in a 50-yard pin with these heavier arrows, and then we'll replicate that same test shooting at 55 yards with a guess of 50 yards. Alright, back at my 50-yard mark here, and I have no idea where these are going to hit, so maybe I'll start by just shooting, I'll try my 60-yard pin, see what happens. Low. So what I'm doing is I'm just sighting in a pin by using my adjustable sight here. So I'm just going to get one pin, it doesn't matter which one, sight it in at 50 yards, and then we'll also shoot it at 60. So that first one felt good but hit low. That one felt good. Looks like it hit good too. I'm not going to change it this time because that one felt pretty good. See how we did. Gotta hustle before the afternoon wind gets here. Oh yeah, not bad. First one was way low, just like I thought. The next ones were pretty good. So those are my second two. That first one was before I readjusted it. So I'll shoot 3 more just to verify. But those felt good and hit pretty good for a shooter like me. So some people might say, why don't you just get better at guessing yardage? Or why don't you just always use your rangefinder? And those are valid. I pretty much always do use my rangefinder these days, but we're searching for the most forgiving and lethal arrow. Because mistakes just happen. Sometimes you use your rangefinder and you hit a little branch that was close, or a blade of grass or something like that, and it's like, we just want to increase our odds the most we can of killing an animal cleanly and quickly. So that's why we lightened up our setup. I'm not telling anyone to lighten up your setup. I'm just putting this out there because there may be a better option for the Western hunter than going with just like the super heavy, chunkiest arrow you can. I still don't know the results, but we're about to find out. 55 yards with a 50-yard pin. Felt good. Little left went off. Shouldn't have had that second monster before I did this video. Just kidding. Alright, last shot. Good execution. Felt money. See how we did. Those all felt pretty good as far as height. That one was left when it went off, but let's see what, oh, I forgot the tape measure. I'm out. Keep rolling so you don't know I'm not fudging things. People get offended, man, when you say a certain setup might be better than another one. People come out and they attack you. So we're not saying anyone should change their setup. Shoot what makes you feel confident. That's probably more important than tinkering and screwing around with everything and all this nitpicky stuff. If you feel good going in the mountains, you're more likely to kill your elk, deer, antelope, whatever you're after. So don't get offended. Not that bad of a difference. Here's what we got. Aiming at the white line. Let's check the measurement. So the moderate arrow, 460 grain, was a 4-inch difference. I'd say that's about the middle. Height-wise, 9-inch difference. So, or 9 inches from aiming point. It's a 5-inch difference because the other one was 4 inches low and this one's 9 inches low. So, 5-inch difference between a 460 grain arrow and a 630 grain arrow when you misguess yardage by 5 yards. Guessing for 50 and it was really at 55. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned. We got a bunch more videos coming. I drew one of the best elk tags in Utah. Gonna show prepping for that. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you on the next one. Shoot straight.